Pound.
In a world,
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
Y'all might be focused on election politics, but this is personal. It's some boys hanging out, talking about the Carolina Panthers. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast, and tonight's show, Dan Morgan hit bingo trading Jonathan Mingo. It took getting rid of this player to actually win Mingo Bingo on this show. Holy moly. The Carolina Panthers are coming off a win against the division rival who ended up. So the Panthers are bad, and they got a coach fired. Take that. Getting coaches fired, fleecing Jerry Jones. We've got all that plus your calls.
Fans love us now.
Yeah, we've got all that plus your calls. Each and every Tuesday night, we're live at 9 p.m., and I rock each week with my wheelman, Cody Lack. How you doing?
Tony Dunn, listen, man, I'm going to have to agree with my brother Diesel Skills. Everybody should use their right to vote. And on YouTube, your way to vote is to hit that like button, baby, every single Tuesday night.
Mm-hmm.
There is nowhere in the world I would rather be than sitting here with my boys talking Panther football, even if it's in the midst of the most annoying election ever. The boys are going to congregate and talk Panther football. Jonathan Mingo, that bust is out of the building. Praise be to all the powers that made that happen, especially Dan Morgan. We have to preview this matchup with the Giants. We have to talk about the emergence of both Jalen Coker and Jatavion Sanders. But Tony Dunn, you know we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. We got Diesel Skills in the building. What's up, D's? Kyle, Charlotte Sports 1, Drew Irvin, Muscles Marinara Paisan. How are you, brother? Prayers still up to your family and your sister. NC Hager 22. My man D Money in the building. Panther Pickle and Tim Estes. And Matal Lomax and G Baby in the building. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. We'd love to have your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers, this trade, and some of the questions I've been seeing people ask about the head coaching position and actually how poorly coached the Panthers were was what the comment I saw, and still found a way to win. We want to get your voice, and this is a cool part of the show. The Mount Rushmore of caller. The number one caller in the C3 Panthers podcast history returning next week. NC Hager 22 says Brinkley Hager went to her first game this weekend and had a blast. W. How about that? I don't think I've been to a W in like over 10 years. This girl's so cool. She walks in the building they went for.
Yeah.
Smash the thumbs up button. Be a part of the show. CK in the house, man. Good to hang out with you.
Oh, of course, man. And I tell you what, I told you I would be shocked if Dennis Allen remained the coach before the end of the week. And here we are. It's tough, man. You don't, we had talked to, one of those Saints content creators before the season started. And that was a question I asked. I said, how many games in will it take for them to fire Dennis Allen? Because he's going to be on a short leash already, because they're built to win now. His mindset was that they won't. They've never fired a coach midseason, and he was of the mind that they wouldn't. I had a feeling, number one, that was going to be something that we were going to see. I didn't know if it was going to happen at this point or some point later in the season, but I knew it was going to happen because he already had a reputation of being a bad head coach from being with the Raiders. And so he doesn't get the benefit of a full 3 years to build a team when he's coming off of being a failed head coach already. So, it is interesting that the Panthers are the one that had that happen. And man, I tell you what, JC Horn coming to the Twitterverse to lock horns with Cam Jordan. I love to see it, man, and it makes me really want to keep that guy around for the long term for sure.
It's that they did go on a 7-game losing streak, the New Orleans Saints. They won their first 2 out the gate and went on a 7-game losing streak. Right now, the Carolina Panthers are listed on NFL.com as ahead of the Saints in the division. Looks like we're 2 games behind the Bucks and 4 games behind the Falcons. Hey, a lot of football to be played here in Carolina.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
As long as we don't got to talk about the draft. All right. Love everybody being here. Let's jump into tonight's show. The big news, I'm sure that we have to be leading with this.
Oh, absolutely.
Dan Morgan didn't get as much done before the trade line as I thought might happen. I thought there could have been one more player that they maybe found a way.
Yeah, there were a lot of interesting. That's actually that's a part of the show here tonight. The fact that we didn't trade Adam Thielen and how it was almost a done deal between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Panthers for an Adam Thielen trade. So
they went got Mike Williams.
Yeah, right. So, which by the way, upgrade for them. I'd probably rather have Mike Williams. But anyway, man, let's jump into this show. Listen, we have been very tough, very hard on Jonathan Mingo, 2nd round pick just last year. And man, he is out the door. Dan Morgan is wheeling and dealing. The Panthers traded 2nd-year receiver Jonathan Mingo and the 2025 7th-round pick to the Dallas Cowboys. In return, the Panthers will receive the Cowboys' 4th-round pick for 2025. Mingo was drafted in the 2nd round in the 2023 NFL Draft. He appeared in 24 games over the past season and a half, pulling in 55 receptions on 111 targets for 539 yards and no touchdowns. Man, listen, this is like the rare time, Tony and CK, where I hear people almost unanimously saying that the Panthers did the fleecing in a trade as opposed to us getting fleeced. The 33rd team gave it a C for the Cowboys and an A for the Carolina Panthers. And for those who are keeping track of the amount of draft picks that we have now for this, after the Mingo trade, the Panthers have 9 picks in the 2025 draft. They have their 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2 4ths, 3 5ths, and a 7th. Lots of flexibilities and opportunities for Dan Morgan to continue to add talent to the roster. And here's a little bit of a visualization of how many picks that we have. Gentlemen, what say y'all? Are we happy about this trade? What does it say about I don't know, the team at this point and what they expect from their young players going forward?
Well, I don't know if I've ever heard someone say that the Panthers fleece somebody in a trade.
Yeah, I agree. And it's weird because he's a 2nd-round draft pick. So we only got a 4th back in return for him 1 year after he was drafted. So it is weird to have that be the narrative. However, the thing I look at is, and the reason I like this is, number one, so far this year, Dan Morgan's draft picks have been on point, right? They've contributed. They've actually played at a high level. I've been actually, impressed with what he's done in the draft. That makes me excited about his ability to draft with a full offseason of evaluation for these guys. And the reason that excites me is right now, if you look at this, we have 7 in the top 150 that we're going to be able to pick. 7 players in the top 150. And odds are there's going to be some moving back, moving up, things like that. So that could turn into more. It could be less. But man, I love the fact that we have a plethora of picks to try to build a team the right way. And we'll see, man. I'm excited to see what it turns out to be.
I think the narrative of the fleecing comes from a couple of different angles. Is one, as you look around the league for what other wide receivers have gone for other teams. If you think of like Devontae Adams or DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins went for a conditional 5th round, I think.
And then you get like what Panda says is that someone makes sense. How do you get 4th for Mingo, but a low round pick for Deontay Johnson, who's like not only a far, I mean, just so night and day better of a player. But I think here is a couple of things. Oh, and then the other is that because Dallas is going backwards, they're spiraling the toilet right now, putting Dak Prescott on injured reserve, likely it looks like.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And then they're out here acquiring players. To me, though, in one way it is, I mean, look, is how the best thing that Jonathan Mingo ever did for the Carolina Panthers is get them a 4th round pick.
Truly.
I mean, and I feel like I really wanted to be excited about Mingo when we drafted him. I think CK was very, very patient with him as a player. You, Cody,
I've been out.
Not known for your patience in a sense, you know.
No. But hey, at least I wasn't wrong. Yeah.
But Mingo is on a rookie deal. He doesn't cost any money to Jerry Jones.
Well, but how about this?
Right.
They get Jonathan Mingo, and then they put Dak on IR.
Yeah.
Like right after.
That's the thing. That's what I was just mentioning. So like
so stupid for the Cowboys to even make this move. Like what?
Especially in a lost
he's
season
a rookie
for the most
contract.
part.
Gets a rookie contract.
What about Jonathan Mingo at all? Is like a player that you want to trade for. What has he shown? The dude doesn't have a touchdown. It's man. Hey,
it's like a player you can almost wait to get released next year.
Right.
Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out, bro. I'm happy.
And
to have it on.
Keep in mind, Dak going on IR means that they're pretty much going to be not winning at least the next 4 games. Odds are, right? Because they're already pretty bad with Dak, and Dak was far from the reason that they were losing. And so to have him be benched now, a move like this indicates like a win now type of a situation, right?
What? Because Dak's going to IR? No, I think it indicates this, that their season is over and that they can't afford to have a serious hamstring injury with Dak paying him $1 bazillion that they are.
Well, I mean, my entire thing is that like you don't make a move like you're not a buyer in the trade market unless you're a contender this year, right? Like the Panthers weren't out there trading for a player. You're not seeing teams that aren't competitors trading for players, and to have the Cowboys trading for players makes you think that Jerry Jones thinks they're going to be a contender. I'll tell you right now, they're not winning the NFC East with the way the Commanders are playing and with the trade they just pulled off from Marshawn Lattimore, right? And then your starting quarterback's going on IR. So I don't know what world you think you're a competitive team that you would want to trade with the Panthers, overpay for a player while at the same time adding to a team that really doesn't have anything to be excited about. Like there's nothing.
Do you think, Cody, that there is a world in like a gentleman's club among these GMs that sometimes overpays and underpays for a player in agreed upon terms, like we're going to scratch your back at another time to give us good press or bad press? Like, so imagine imagine with a GM and he goes, look, we're going to do some stuff. We know we're going to be working together a little bit here. You overpay by a little bit just to make me look good in this, and I'm going to hook you up somewhere else in some backroom deal. Could that happen? Or would that be too risky that people wouldn't honor?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm always so interested in the inside baseball. I would love to be on a fly on the wall to listen to these trade discussions. I think there's an element to it that when you know something isn't working, it's like get them out of the fucking building.
Yeah,
good
for everybody.
Get them out of here, and it's like any sort of compensation that you can get. It's better to have something rather than nothing, and let them go for nothing. And especially now, Dan Morgan, as we mentioned, now he has. I mean, look at all these draft picks that we have at our disposal. We can move up. We can move down. We have things that we want to do. To answer your question, Tony, I'm sure it happens. I don't know how relevant that is necessarily to this one. I feel like they definitely wanted Deontay Johnson out the door. Like that felt like whatever, just get something for him. And then I feel like they probably had a few feelers in the air for a few different players, and they were just waiting to get the best deal for the best amount of value. We'll talk about Adam Thielen here in a minute.
I thought that would have been a great fit in Pittsburgh, but
that would have been a good fit too. But now you're able to offload a player who has not done anything special here in Carolina. And I like what Pandas said, that fourth could end up being a high fourth, making it essentially a late third pick or a comp pick, depending on where they end up. And the Cowboys are not good right now. Like we said, they just put Dak on IR. So I think this is a great move. I'm loving it so far.
I don't think Mingo was lack of opportunity either.
Lack of talent.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? It's not like one of these players that we did.
Camp?
Right, but don't we haven't? If we think way back in the history, like there's a lot of times you're like, man, that player was underwhelming, this and that. But then there were these factors of them not getting a lot of play time or something. I really think that the Panthers gave Mingo a lot of opportunity, particularly obviously his rookie season, CK. And then I mean, it's not like he was kept off the field early in this season.
Yeah. Well, also let me ask this to everyone: how much of them moving on from Jonathan Mingo and being down another body at the wide receiver position has everything to do with this young stud, Jalen Coker, who continues to be impressive. He had something of an ankle injury, so he didn't even get as much snaps as, say, David Moore did in the offense. But right now, PFF has him as an overall 79.8 grade. His receiving grade, 79.5. Dude, he's been a breath of fresh air for the Panthers. And the past 2 games in a row, he's been a real weapon for Bryce, someone for him to be able to get the ball to. And they seem to have built a good connection early on. Where my cokeheads at, baby? Oh, shit. How much does Jalen Coker and even to a lesser extent, Jatavion Sanders starting to become more involved? How much were they involved in the Panthers feeling comfortable to move on from another young player on a rookie deal like Mingo?
I think it has all the world to do.
Yeah, high on the list. You're going to have Thielen come back. You had in the action that we saw on Sunday, I didn't see Mingo. I didn't see him come out and do anything. Who did you see the ball get thrown to 4 times, 5 times? Jalen Coker, Xavier Legette. You have Chuba out of the backfield, and then you had Jatavion Sanders. Right, these guys were all getting targets, and I didn't see Mingo once being looked at. I don't even think they looked his way. So, I mean, having these guys is 100% what this was about. I think it was clear Mingo wasn't working in this offense and with this team. And so get him out of here. Let the reps go to these young guys. That's the way I look at it.
Coker's balling. He's 23 years old. There's no sense in giving any more play to Mingo when you know it's not working. It would be criminal to put Mingo out there over Coker in one case. And then it's already clear that you're not going to be that high. We're not going to go for a Terrace Marshall Jr. thing again, where every year it's like, oh, he's doing better in camp than last year, and he still stinks. This kid, he ran a 4.5. He's not that 4.57 40 Coker. Can you believe that? That's what's listed online. Not the
there have been a
fastest.
few really good wide receivers that didn't run a fast time, though.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying it can't be. I'm just saying, 6'3", 23 years old. Let's go. 215.
But dude, the fact that Jalen Coker has come in here and in such a relatively short amount of time outcompeted Jonathan Mingo in every single category. Mingo has a faster 40 time, but I'll be damned if Jalen Coker isn't better coming out of his break. Like, the dude is fast, is nimble, is strong. He doesn't mind going up to get the ball. I love his skill set right now. And he's a bigger dude than you think he is. So I'm loving what his potential is in this offense, and the fact that we never really have those late round to undrafted picks ever turn out for us, it just makes it feel all the better, man. Like, how could you not love this young man's success? All right,
I need you guys to cover me for a couple minutes. I gotta go help my daughter with something.
yeah, no problem. All right, okay, let's continue on in the slideshow because I think we need to get to some of this other stuff that we were talking about. The other players that we did not choose to trade. So there were a lot of talks of potentially us trading Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
Adam Thielen was a part of this. And we're learning here today that the Pittsburgh Steelers all but had a deal for Adam Thielen. The Pittsburgh Steelers had interest in the Carolina Panthers wide receiver Adam Thielen, but the two sides weren't close on the competition for a trade to get him. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show Tuesday afternoon, Schefter said one source told him that he doubts the deal gets done, which obviously it didn't. Pittsburgh is looking to add a wide receiver, and Adam Thielen makes as much sense as anyone else. So again, as of a couple of hours ago, two sides were not close on compensation. So let me find the part of it where it talks about so it says they've been trying to get this trade done since the summer, and the Pittsburgh Steelers went on an extensive search for a wide receiver, and it looked like they were going to trade Thielen. What do you think the compensation was that Carolina would have been looking for that Pittsburgh wasn't willing to match? And are you happy now that with Bryce, and we'll talk about Bryce here in a minute, but with Bryce ostensibly being assumed to be the starter, how do you feel about Adam Thielen coming back to this offense?
Man, I don't hate it. I like the reality that he's going to continue to help Bryce be a reliable outlet. I wish that we would have gotten something for him. I really do. I know he's got one more year left, and there's an opportunity we can get something in the off season if he decides not to retire. But you hate to go into the rest of this season with a guy that isn't going to be the future of this team and not get any compensation like we did with the Curtis Samuel situation and what have you. So I'm happy to have him here. I think he fits well in this locker room, and I think he's an incredible leader in that locker room. But it does worry me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think they were looking for a certain amount of value. Again, judging from other wide receivers, listen, Jonathan Mingo went for a fourth. So I'm assuming for Adam Thielen, they were looking for at least a third round pick, which, again, considering Deontay Johnson went for what, a fifth? You know what I mean? I just don't know what type of compensation they were getting. But listen, I think that Bryce, if he's going to continue to show, hey, you want to build around me in year 3, then, dude, he's going to have a dependable wide receiver like Adam Thielen show up for him. And he should be coming back to this offense soon. So now that you have Jalen Coker, JT Sanders out there, and Adam Thielen coming back to this offense, this has the opportunity to, I mean, we have some opportunities for some victories out ahead of us, and that's more than just this Giants game in Munich that we're looking forward to this Sunday. But thank you to the Cheshire Cat for the $5 C3 bomb. Says Jatavion Sanders seems to play the wrong sport. I appreciate his MMA knee lift. Dude, out here playing strong. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like I'm happy that this offense is starting to move forward. Like, we know that Deontay Johnson isn't going to be a part of the future. We know about Jonathan Mingo, that he's not going to be a part of the future. And now you're going to be able to sort of look at what the future of this offense is with Adam Thielen, Jalen Coker, Sanders, Chuba Hubbard. Like, a lot of these guys are auditioning to be a part of this Panthers offense going forward, even still. And that's something that we're going to have to continue to monitor and look out for.
Yeah,
Anything else
no,
you want- yeah, go ahead, sir.
no, I was gonna say. I mean, I think number one, did we ever find out that defensive back get injured that he kneed right in the head?
I don't know. I don't think so. But dude,
I'd
that,
be
that
surprised if he didn't get a concussion.
Yeah, dude, that Muay Thai MMA knee, dude. He was dude, I love the aggression, dude. I want a badass tight end that's willing to throw his weight around, jump over people. Tommy Tremble did this last year.
Yeah.
You know?
I love how surprised he was that he made it over, and he was just like standing there for a second. I'm like, oh, I'm free to go, and he just keeps running. Like he was even surprised that he wasn't on the ground. So not on the ground on his back. I mean, but yeah, man, it's I'm glad we have him. It's gonna be good to see him develop. What else we got, man?
Yeah, so let's jump into this Bryce Young conversation because okay, as of right now, Dave Canales has yet to commit to Bryce Young being the starter in Munich against the Giants. Andy Dalton is back. He is practicing. So this is going to be a really weird situation to keep our eyes on going forward. But we did have some news today on this front. There were a lot of rumors as to whether or not the Panthers would look to trade Bryce Young, which was always the dumbest shit in the world to me. But now Diana Rossini stating the obvious. The Panthers will be keeping quarterback Bryce Young. Teams have called about the 2023 number 1 overall pick, but ultimately have decided not to trade him. Does this surprise anyone? I mean,
No.
To me, it doesn't. There's no reason to move on from Bryce. You still have him on a rookie contract. And now he's finally starting to get those zips out of his system, play a little bit better, play with some confidence, push the football down the field. Yeah, there was no way this was ever going to happen.
Add to this that the point being that the Carolina Panthers will have a top 5 pick, right? Like an arguably top 3, depending on how things fold for other teams as well. What trading Bryce Young would do would put an unnecessary pressure on you as an organization at that pick to make a statement to the fans, to make a statement to the future, to pick somebody for something. Yeah. No sense. Like you're not going to get anything for it, and you're going to lose a lot of flexibility, I think, or create more pressure for yourself.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
Before too. Well, go ahead, TK.
I was gonna say I don't disagree. I think when you look at what already happened to Bryce, no matter who we picked at that position is going to have a high level of expectation just based on the fact that a first overall draft pick was given up for him, or for whatever that position may be. So I agree. I think putting any type of undue stress on a rookie that's coming in, even if it's unwarranted, is not necessary and honestly detrimental to a rookie's development.
I tell you one thing is they wonder what the odds are for some of this on a place like Underdog Fantasy, which the C3 Panthers podcast is brought to you by. And I'm looking at Underdog here because we are getting into fantasy since it's tough to talk about reality in so many ways. And you look at the Thursday night matchup. Oh, my goodness gracious. The Bengals, the Ravens, fireworks right there. Derrick Henry, I feel like, who is at a 0.5 rushing, receiving touchdowns. I feel like that's a lock for a hire each week. Just notch Derrick Henry down for a touchdown each and every week. Jamar Chase was on the team last week, guys, where Joe Burrow threw 4 or 5 touchdowns and he wasn't one of the recipients.
Yeah.
How?
Right.
How? Well, this week, he's probably due. So notch that touchdown, rushing, receiving touchdown. And you're trying to tell me that this game is going to be going, this is 2 division rivals bashing each other together, and 267.5 for Joe Burrow. They're going to be this game could be a ton of fireworks, 2 high-powered offenses. Maybe the Ravens defense does thwart some of those things. But if you're interested in that and making some real cash. Go to underdogfantasy.com or download the app. Make sure you use the promo code C3P to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. And I'm hoping the over-under and Cody reading the disclaimer for me is a lock here. But you guys, you can get profit boost, pump up your winnings in just one tap when you apply the boost to eligible entry. There's discounts. You'll get adjusted projections and on certain player stats that give you a better shot to win. Go check out those guys. We've had fun with Underdog. And I'm telling you, you should go download that. Use the promo code C3P to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code C3P to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Cody.
Yes, sir. Must be 18 years of older, 18 years of age, 21 plus in Massachusetts and Arizona, 19 plus in Alabama and New England, and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE New York or text HOPE NY to 467-369. Thank you to Underdog Fantasy and use that code C3P. That helps us out tremendously, and they're going to be with us through February and through the playoffs, man. So shout out to Underdog Fantasy. That really helps us out a ton.
All right, guys. I think it's time to get some cat calls in.
The
number is 252-228-5098. We want to get your thoughts on these trades, the opportunities, the missed opportunities, the fleecings, the signs of what is to come for the Carolina Panthers. Oh, and you want to talk about a revenge game? Brian Burns and the Carolina Panthers going after it this week in Germany. So we'll have to get up early this week, guys. Let's get some calls in, Cody.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
What it is, C3 fam? It's your boy Josh from Mass. How about them Carolina boys? They stubbed. A lot of good things. Defense standing up at crucial moments, and I love seeing that. Really, because that's what made it happen. Really liked what I saw on the offense. A lot of different receivers getting involved. JT Sanders hurdling mugs out there. Again, I love what he did, except for that one play. You all know that play that somehow counts as an interception, even though he just got the ball yanked out of his damn hands.
Right.
That David Moore drop, like, damn. Everyone's talking about Bryce's numbers, how they weren't that great. Well, there's two plays right there where that ball was where it needed to be. So you could add another 60 onto Bryce's numbers. I mean, whatnot. I get it. It didn't happen, but realistically, as a quarterback, you put the ball there. It's on the playmaker at that point, not the quarterback. No, he looks like he's getting comfortable, like he's figuring it out. And I'll admit, for a brief period of time, I was completely all the way out on this guy. But you know what? If he keeps showing improvement, if he keeps moving the direction he's moving, that's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see him keep moving that direction, whether he's with us for the long term or not. Because let's be real, if you're going to trade somebody, they need to look kind of good for a period of time, for a stretch, for another team to go, oh yeah, we could do something with that. And I want to talk about the play calling. Why the fuck? Why is Miles Sanders on this team still? And why the fuck is he suiting up? Why is he getting a helmet? Why? I had more rushing yards on Sunday than that man did. He's ass. Was his nickname is Booty or whatever? Yeah, that's why, because he's ass. In the screens. I don't know if Dave is trying to thinks that calling those is a way of pulling the defense up or what. But my God, that shit just don't work. And he did it three times in a row, I believe. I forget whether it was the second or fourth quarter. He called 3 straight fucking screens. What the fuck are you doing, man? But a win's a win. And it's heartening to see things start growing. We got Germany this coming week. Jonathan Brooks should be back. Thielen should be back. I'm out of time. I won't be calling back. Keep pounding C3 fam. There's a lot of season ahead. And get out.
Thanks. That's Josh from Mass, man. I appreciate the call. Thoughts on the game. And I guess the two things that stand out to me about the call, my opinion, that I would like to talk about is just the Bryce Young's getting more comfortable with each completed pass, each completed rep. And just maybe, the mental shake or shook can get shook off. And he can start to just develop. And that doesn't mean that he has to go out there and become a great star by the end of the season to prove anything. Sure. But seeing incremental growth from him would just be a positive.
I think that's, again, best case scenario. We started out the year talking about the best case scenarios, and we said Bryce taking a step in the right direction is a best case scenario. And then having these young wide receivers turn out to be gifted enough to be able to be the future for us. I mean, those are the best case scenarios. It still needs to see a massive improvement for it to be anything other than a complete bust, because let's be real, we're not winning Super Bowls with Bryce at the helm right now, at least not the Bryce we even saw on Saturday. But I tell you what, we're one step closer to having some hope and seeing what he's capable of being if he can put it all together.
Cody, I feel like throughout the season so far, despite the bad performances by Carolina, there hasn't been a ton of criticism when it comes to the actual coaching product overall, like as in failure of the coaching staff in different levels, like in many ways, like we thought last year. But now we hear Josh talking about, I mean, not that he's just the first person to do this with play calling, but they're starting to catch a few more strays on the coaching staff these days.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, that was one of the things that I came into the podcast last Sunday as I got home from the game. One of the first things I said was I felt like it was Dave Canales' worst called game. I hate the short down play calling. I don't like the amount of jet sweeps. I don't like the refusal to just run the ball on short yardage distances on like 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2. Just be aggressive, man. Run through the A and B gap. Quit trying to be cute. I feel like that this offense was almost successful in spite of the play calling that Dave Canales gave to us. And again, there's a lot of confusion going forward, man. We're getting ready to continue to jump back in on that conversation. He has yet to name Bryce Young the starter. We do not know who the starter is going to be. And Tony, listen, I've said this on Twitter too, and I'm not trying to put stuff out there. Again, I don't know shit. I have no inside information pertaining to this, but I cannot fight the feeling that I feel like maybe there's some division between Dave Canales and Dan Morgan and this front office. And the reason why I think so is because if Dave Canales was a part of all these conversations, well, then why wouldn't his answer be, like whenever they asked him about potential trades, his answer was always, oh, that's a question for Dan and Brandt, instead of, well, we're just not trying to divulge too much information right now, so we would rather not say. Like, he always makes sure to defer it to Dan, as in, like, hey, man, don't fucking talk to me. And it's just, and it gives me an impression, like, I don't know, like there's some sort of disconnect there. Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but also with his tepid ability to come out and endorse Bryce fully. I mean, he's never had more momentum around him than right now. So if you were ever going to get a look at what he is and who he is as a player, like, I mean, if you don't start him now, when do you envision doing it in the future, if not now?
There's a couple of things that it's just kind of funny that that's what you're thinking about and stuff. Makes me laugh.
I mean, hey, I don't know. It's just a feeling.
There's a couple of things that there's going to be some things. Is one is Pickle says this. It makes Bryce fight harder, right, and to be more, I guess, hungry, and not just saying, "Oh, it's back. I'm back," and getting comfortable because he completed a couple of passes. That's one. Two. What if it's that he's like, man, we're only 4 games back in the division. And he thinks how that would be more hilarious if that was the reason. Like, he's like, I want to get Andy Dalton back in there. We could actually make a run. If anybody says that's the reason, I'm going to fire everybody. That mug, if that's the reason this is going down, he should be fired for incompetence. Man, we ain't making no run in this division. You don't want to make a run. This team is terrible. There's no reason.
Here's a reason I think. I really do think the people on the train that it's just for pure gamemanship, not giving the Giants any free game plans to try to go after. It is unequivocally true that Dave Canales calls 2 separate games when it's Andy Dalton in there versus Bryce Young. Like, that's clear to me. And if you're a Giants coach and you're trying to game plan for an offense, you're going to game plan for both of these guys because you don't know who is going to officially be the starter. I think most people are going to be in agreement that it's Bryce. I don't think there's many people that are arguing that Bryce is going to be starting. Not with him making progress. The last thing you want to do is bench him while he is moving in the right direction.
Let's just break this little kid again.
Right. Especially in a situation where you're going up against another winnable, a team that's, that is possible to win against. I think that there is that would be a missed opportunity, for lack of a better way to say it, for them if they were to bench Bryce right now.
Yeah, it's a salvage value, but there's a third option though about why he approaches these issues like this. Maybe he's a wet noodle. And he was hired because he's just going to defer to above.
He'll be a good little boy and just take orders from the top down.
Yeah.
Maybe so, man. Maybe so. And it really makes you question the Bryce Young thing. So just for some context, again, this was one of Bryce's better performances on Bryce Young on 3rd and 4th downs versus the Saints. He had a 82.5 PFF grade. 7 of 8 passing, 71 passing yards, and 4 first downs. We have his passing chart here, and it definitely looks better than it had before. I mean, now we're finally seeing some passes of multiple passes of more than 20 yards, actively pushing the ball downfield. This is what we've been wanting to see from Bryce. He felt hesitant, felt not confident in himself, sort of looking as small as he is, 5'10" and a eighth. It's funny, I was at the game with my buddy Angel. He's 6'4", 230 pounds, and he's looking down at Bryce. Is like, and he's not really that much of a football fan. He's not like a big Panthers fan. He's like, dude, he really is small as fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, he is, dude. He really is. But Bryce picked the right time to play big. He is pushing the ball downfield, being more aggressive. And I found this interesting, Tony, and I know that
you think he's pulling back here?
I mean, no, listen. So listen to these stats, though, right? And maybe this is a little bit why Dave Canales isn't being so quick to jump out and endorse Bryce. The Panthers are the first team in the Super Bowl era to win a game with under 250 total yards gained, 0 takeaways, and 425 plus total yards allowed.
What?
Ever.
Like those stats don't make any sense. Think about that as how it's like it's a possibility to lose. That's why Dennis Allen got fired. They showed that one tweet. They're like, how do you not win this game? The others of going back to the call, that's just because Josh said a couple plays difference in the if you go back to that passing chart just real quick, you put those two completions, the drop and the interception. Didn't he hit David Moore right in the face at one point for a touch that could have been a touchdown? Is that other white one? No, the red one is the takeaway. One of those white ones in the top right was that David Moore. That was the David Moore.
That one right there was going to be beautiful. And the ball should have been a little more out front, but
no, it was there. It was right on the.
No, I watched the breakdown of it. It should have been a little further out, but you hit him in the chest and
the hands
dropped it.
It was a drop. It was a drop. I don't care if it could have been a little bit. And then you add that 40 yards. You have 40 yards and a touchdown, and he's 17 for 25 there with 210 and a touchdown. You know, 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. That passing chart looks a lot cooler. All right, the number is 252-228-5098. Let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, this is A-Link. Nice to see that we made a trade already. I don't know if it's not the end of the trade deadline while I'm calling, but so we got for Mingo a 4th round pick. What did we get for Dante Johnson again? It was like a 5th round pick, and we had to pay him most of the salary. So I don't understand the trade anymore, considering Mingo has been pretty much garbage for us. Dante Johnson was leading us in receptions and all other jazz for a team. I don't understand. But hey, we got a 4th round pick for a bum. I will take that any day of the week. You will see me run into the podium for that kind of a trade. So yay, good for us. Also, funny story. Both teams that we have beaten this year have fired their coaches. And I saw a really funny video on Facebook this morning when I was getting dressed of this guy who does make fun of NFL players and stuff like that. Basically saying that the former coach of the Raiders and OC of the Raiders, forget which, and Dennis Allen talking to going, yeah, we've both been raped by the Panthers, so Carolina Reapers or whatever. And it was kind of funny. That any team that will likely lose to us this year, their coach is either going to be in the very, very hot seat or someone's going to get fired. Might not be the coach, might be the OC or the DC. But we are that bad that all we can hope for is to cause chaos at other franchises, which I'm okay with. I guess I can watch Panthers for that, hoping that they cause chaos for someone else. What do you guys think about that? But hey, I'll take it. I don't know if we're going to do anything more in the trade deadline before the end of it. Maybe we'll move Thielen. I doubt it because he's hurt. I doubt he's going to trade for him because of his injury issues. And I don't think we have any other players that we are going to get rid of that someone's willing to pay for. Maybe Clowney? But that's it. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Here's the chaos. Keep pounding, guys.
That's appropriate. Election day chaos. You want to go to the next call?
Well, yeah, but Tony, I also wanted to get your opinion on Thielen. We talked about him when you were helping with your daughter. The fact that he is coming back to this offense and that the Pittsburgh Steelers essentially had a deal for Adam Thielen and the Panthers felt that it wasn't enough value. We were speculating what that value was, but what do you think now that Adam Thielen is still on this team? What do you like for him going forward? Can he still make an impact this year? And does it matter at all?
It does not matter at all. It matters that what would have been too little of compensation. Would they offer 6?
Well, yeah, considering we got a 5th for Johnson, we just got a 4th for Mingo. It makes you wonder what they were even asking.
It has to be worse than a 5th.
Yeah, it had to have been, huh?
Right? I mean, yeah, because we were willing to make these other decisions. And look, it would have.
Can one of y'all look up real quick what Mike Williams went for? What was the trade?
I got it. Let's see. But or I'll pull it up.
And while you're pulling it up, Vegas Panthers Drew with the $10 C3 bomb says, I'm so sick of watching us try and make Miles look good. Hopefully now, after we didn't trade him, we can stop throwing bubble screens and draws to him. Also, can this be the end of Ian Thomas? Finally, we might hope, Drew, but whether or not that actually happens, yeah, I don't know. And just to piggyback off of the last caller, yeah, man, there's a lot of happy New Orleans Saints fans that are loving the Panthers because we got Dennis Allen fired, CK. And they were wanting that for a long time, and the Panthers made it happen.
Well, we made it happen.
Gave up a 5th round draft pick for Mike Williams.
Crazy.
So what would you have rather done? Taking a 5th?
Yes. He's
really?
gonna retire. He's not coming back for the Carolina Panthers. There's no sense in even putting him out there.
Who are you gonna throw the ball to the rest of the season?
We got him. Leggett, Coker.
All right.
Put somebody. There's got to be another receiver on this team that we can put in and get some time with. Oh, David Moore. Who cares? Like, I mean, what? We've been doing it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have to, but I do like that Dylan now can finish out this year, and if Bryce does remain the starter, that's another safety blanket for him to have at his disposal.
Yeah,
I think Thielen is going to be hurt the rest of the year conveniently.
Well, they have to activate him by I think 4 p.m. tomorrow.
I know, but I think he's going to have every little nick and ding. Yeah. He's been like, I don't know if I can go.
We have a bunch of players set to come back, man. DJ Wanham is set to return. Jonathan Brooks might potentially play. Adam Thielen could potentially play.
So now Canales really is going. We're only 4 games back.
Yeah, I guess so. And Tony, what'd you make of the Panthers getting Dennis Allen fired?
Oh, yeah, like my man said, you know, I think your stat alone showed it. It's like you lost. We are the only team in the history of the world that has beat a team without doing anything on offense and being terrible on defense. That's awesome. Yeah. You want to talk about the Saints and Dennis Allen or a little bit? Washington traded for Marshawn Lattimore, who was not. Somebody mentioned in the chat that all of that production for the Carolina Panthers came against the team that didn't have any of their starting secondary playing. So, like, got 176 yards passing and did that, but they were also beat up. The terms, though, of the Lattimore talk about this. New Orleans, who is in cap hell, by the way, which they're saying it's finally going to catch up to them. They're going to have to be making some big time cuts and playing on the skinny money. But they got a 2025 third round pick, a 4th round pick, and a 6th round pick, where they gave a 5th along with Marshawn Lattimore. They're acquiring assets right now. Or not assets. They're acquiring draft capital.
Dude, look at the Commanders, man. They're trying to be a good team this year.
Yeah. I mean, their defense is stunk. Their secondary is stunk. Trape X, he says, Hurricanes stop the Flyers with Nashus scoring. That better be this. There's got to be a superstar. Nashus has to be a superstar for us this year. Scoring with 31 seconds left to win 5-4. Canes have been putting up some goals lately. They beat the Bruins 8-2 the other week, and that never happens.
Shit. Go Carolina.
All right, let's get back to the calls. The number is 252-228-5098.
To the charismatic CK, the tenacious Tony Dunn, and yes, the incomparable Cody Lai.
What up?
What's going on, boys? North Carolina's neighborhood hope dealer checking in real quick. Hey, I'm happy about the game. I'm happy about the win this past Sunday, man. I'm really grateful. But I got a serious matter at hand that I want to put out there, man, for C3 Nation. It's about voting. It's about this election. Today is election day. And I'm a firm believer, man, exercise your right to vote. Somebody died for it. But, man, I'm tired of folk being mean to one another treating one another like trash, you know what I'm saying? Because of a political
Amen, brother.
man. You know, I get tired of it, man. You know, I'm worn out. You know, on all sides, man. You know, stop treating people like garbage, man. Like, stop treating each other like trash. You know what I'm saying? We all in this together, man. That's why I appreciate C3 Nation, man, the C3 Legion. You know, because no matter what, man, we all here to keep pounding, man. You know, and if you're one of them people, man, that be treating people like trash because they don't think like you think, man, you need to ice up. That's all I got. It's the hope dealer, man.
Ice up.
Love y'all. Keep
Yeah,
pounding.
this was actually the reason the podcast got, well, like a part of the reason the podcast got started. Is because I was so tired of like putting so much energy into political conversation and people being less than engaging and sophisticated and being willing to interact with the ideas. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to yell and scream, and I don't have to unfriend you if I just go, the Saints suck. CK, this is wild, though. And I know we don't want to get into political partisanship. I mean, you guys can all have your own opinions. But Wisconsin is a swing state, correct?
It is.
All right. So it's been like an important one, I think, in them like naming the president over the last whatever. Right. But I just Googled the election tracker. It says this is crazy, dude. Wisconsin, 34% reporting. Trump just moved ahead by 0.1%, 49.3. But look at it, to 49.3% to Kamala's 49.2%. Now, I mean, there's a lot of voting still reporting in the cities, I think, are the last one. But this is, you guys watching it live right now, is that it's 2,000 votes different. At one point when I started talking about it, it was 800 votes different. That is
yeah, real time here. But no, I agree. I agree with the caller though, dude. We have to coexist with one another, man.
Absolutely.
And listen, it doesn't help that you have, like now the nature of politics is to demonize.
Yeah.
I feel like instead of getting people excited to vote for something, they want you to vote for a party in fear of the other one.
Yes.
And I think that's such a flaw in the way we do politics. And I'll be honest, this is not an endorsement of any kind, but I think that if Trump did win tonight, I think that would probably be why, when he's so heavily demonized, love him or hate him. But I think and both sides do this too, man. But I think that one of the reasons we love football and why I love the C3 Legion so much is, bro, the football and the Panthers, for as bad as they are, it brings us together.
Yeah.
We don't give a fuck who you're voting for. If you're a lifelong Democrat, if you're a lifelong Republican, we're in this together, man. We're Panther fans. And I think that things like that do a better job of bridging the divide between people than politics ever could. So
how much of a breath of fresh air would it be for someone to run on an agenda of not positivity, like just things are great, but like solution oriented rather than trashing everybody?
Yeah. And also, it doesn't help when you're calling everyone communists, you're calling them fascists. Like, come on, dude. We know what's real. You can't do that and expect people to not be divisive, man. So, but you know what? We're going to bring people together. We're going to stay Panther fans. And we don't care what your political allegiances are. We just want you to keep pounding with the C3 Panthers podcast. Like C-Dog says, the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
Nobody is going to just think about it as this. We will be leading the charge. By the time the Carolina Panthers play on Sunday, we will know who the next president of the United States is.
Yeah.
And
I'm
while
voting
people
for
are
D
yelling,
Money.
and while people are yelling and bickering about their candidate or whoever didn't win, whatever it may be, we'll be working hard on Sunday to be a face to the world of unity as the Carolina Panthers go abroad to Germany to take on the New York Giants. And what you'll find right here is some Americans united over this revenge match against Brian Burns. And maybe we could get another coach fired. Maybe that's what we should just root for, is us getting coaches fired. Brian Dable, you're going down.
And dude, listen, man, let me tell you, if Brady Christensen does play left tackle again, I'll be looking forward to him shutting that Burns.
Oh, gosh. Let's see.
Right the fuck down, baby. And by the way, I'm definitely going to vote for D Money every single time, bro. So y'all know what my move is.
Count your days, Brian Dable, or Dave, whatever, however you pronounce it. The clock is ticking.
Brian Dable.
All right, let's go to the next call.
Hey guys, this is Panther Realist.
What's up, Panther Realist?
Let's just go ahead and keep it real. Today we got a 4th round pick for Mingo. That was a good deal. People probably asking, how did we get more for Mingo than we did DJ last week? The main reason why is because he doesn't come with a huge price tag, and he's got a cheap contract that's still got a few more years of control on it. That's more valuable than a guy that you're basically getting a rental for 9 games, and then you may have to pay, and you may have to pay quite a bit of money for. So that's one thing before Panthers fans start screaming we're fleeced like they were on the Twitter last week. Next thing, I know a lot of people were begging and crying to get Miles Sanders out. Again, look at that contract, guys. Nobody wants that contract. You would have to pay that contract and probably trade down draft picks. You probably have to do a Miles Sanders in a 3 for somebody else in the 6th or 7th. Running backs hardly have any value, much less an expensive running back, unless you're talking about McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, someone like that. I mean, that's the only way you're ever going to get value on a running back trade. So it doesn't surprise me. We're just going to have to, unfortunately, eat a shit sandwich when it comes to the Miles Sanders contract.
Yep.
And the last thing is, I know there was a lot of talk about trading Bryce. Bryce's value is just not there, guys. I know people have been talking about all what we gave for him. You know, hey guys, if I go buy a $100,000 house but pay $1 million for it, when I go put it back on the market, I'm not getting $1 million. I'm not even getting $700,000. I may be lucky to get 125, and that's just where you're at. And so sorry guys, we way overpaid for something that really isn't worth what it is. And you know, or it's kind of like whenever you buy a car and it's used, it doesn't matter what all rims you put on it and stereo systems and tinted windows and all that crap. The car's devalued from the time you drove it off the lot. So it's just something to think about whenever everybody was talking about making a move to try to get all this extra draft capital. I don't blame you, but I think that unfortunately we have some very, very, very unrealistic Panther fans about what these guys are worth and what they can get in return. I remember here last week that people were mad that we didn't get a 2 for DJ. How were we going to get a 2 for that guy? I'm sorry, guys. You know, that guy's not a number 1 receiver. He was our number 1 receiver. On a good team, he's a 2. On a great team, he's probably a 3. That's what he is. And I'm sorry, it's just I think Panther fans are really unrealistic. Yeah.
No, great call. Great call. Lots to unpack there too, man. So one, when it comes to Miles Sanders, like it's a big whatever burger at this point. I don't think you were going to get much for him anyway.
Exactly.
And now it brings back Jonathan Brooks into the discussion because it brings up, well, do you play Jonathan Brooks? Like, do we rush him back or do we just run with Chuba and Miles Sanders? I mean, that is an option that is available to us. And he hit on a few points there. Also, when it comes to Deontay Johnson, I agree he was never anything more than a number 2 or number 3 wide receiver on a really good team, which is probably what he is for Baltimore. And
I bet you it'd be badass on the damn Chiefs, though.
Oh yeah. Well, DeAndre Hopkins just went up there.
I know, but still, imagine putting those guys out. Like, I think that Mahomes could take advantage of the things that Johnson's really good at, like the route. You know what I'm saying? Like just making things happen. You know, so I think being on the right team with the right quarterback could really benefit him too. You know, just because of the way his skill set goes. Let's take another call, man.
Yeah.
Podcast brothers, how y'all doing? It's G Cavassier. The deadline is over, man.
What's up, G?
And Thielen are still here. Surprised about that. I'm not surprised. Mingo. Well, in a way, I am. You know, we got a fourth rounder or something like that for Mingo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm glad that he is off this damn team. That dude sucked. He went to Dallas of all teams. Overrated ass Dallas. That dude is not it. And we shouldn't draft another damn player from Ole Miss, I swear, man, because that one quarterback we got, that didn't work out. Now Jonathan Mingo. So, but something else I've been wanting to say, we really got to take this damn Germany game serious, man. Because the Giants, they be getting after the quarterback for real. Our damn offensive line got to step up this year. Well, this game for real, man. They have to. Because them damn boys, y'all seen it. Them boys is good, man, when it comes to sacking. I think they lead the NFL in sacks, I think. And they got that running back from damn University of Duke, which I hate. He's a scrambling quarterback. And you remember last time we faced a scrambling quarterback? It didn't look good. And that was Washington. So give me your thoughts on that, y'all. I see us winning. Keep pounding.
Thoughts on the upcoming game?
I think we're set to win. I really do.
To win.
These are two bad teams. I think we have the same record, right? We're identical record right now.
The Giants are 2-7. Yes.
Yeah. So 2-7 teams. 2-7 teams.
They're 0-5 at home. Ugh.
Dude, I'm telling you, they have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL.
Well, guess what? They're gonna look awesome against this team.
Well, I'm saying, dude, with DJ Wonnum coming back, and Jadeveon Clowney, and your boy, what's his name, 36 Robinson or whatever.
Whoever that guy is that undrafted dude or whatever that had all the tackles or something?
Hold on. And Panda,
not Jamie Robinson. It's certainly not Jamie.
Panda, if you would like to get in a cat call, message me in the DMs, bro. But no, his name is Damani Richardson. Yeah,
Richardson. Who was like undrafted, right? Who had like 12 tackles last week or something.
Oh, hold on, I'll tell you right now. He had 12 tackles versus 12 tackles versus the Saints. Most by a defensive back. Most tackles by a defensive back in week 8 and 9. He was number 2 right behind Buda Baker.
I'm not picking the Panthers to win this game by any means. I'm not picking the Panthers anymore. There's gonna have to be a lot to change my mind. I don't care who they're playing. What about this? The NFC might be better than the AFC this year, and the best division in football is the NFC North. What a tight. Lions are 7-1. Vikings are 6-2. Packers are 6-3. Bears are 4-4. That division's kicking it. NFC, but other divisions are competitive. NFC West, all one game. Nobody has only the best. The leaders are the Cardinals at 5-4. But the NFC East, the Commanders and Eagles are leaving the Cowboys and Giants behind in the dust. Cowboys are 3-5, Giants 2-7, but they do have the most sacks in the NFL, dude.
Who? The
Giants.
Yeah, big sexy Dexy, man. Dexter Lawrence.
I know.
Clemson great, you know.
Brian Burns is starting to play better, people were thinking, but here's the thing is that they don't need to have a good offensive line or a good offense to beat the Carolina Panthers. Did you not read the stat earlier, Cody?
Yeah.
That we're the first team to win. We allowed 425 yards of offense against the Saints, who had nobody. It was just Alvin Kamara, and that was it.
Yeah, man. You want to take another call, or you want me to go forward in the slide here?
We'll do one more call.
Yes, sir. Y'all know who the fuck it is, and no, it's not G, baby. It's showtime. Lou from Fort Myers, bruh. Can I vote Dan Morgan for president? Can I put him on the ballot?
You can write him in.
Can I please?
I don't know if you can actually do it right in the president.
Oh, that's make Jonathan Mingo out of there. Gone. Like a Shohei Ohtani home run, he is gone. And he went to the best team I could have even thought of. I was thinking maybe Raiders or maybe whatever. Cowboys, okay. We'll see what they're going to do because they ain't doing shit. That's me just shit talking, literally. But, yeah, no, like, I want to hear y'all point. Like, I know it's for a fourth rounder, which is kind of like, because we spent the second and traded a seventh for it. So it's like, it is what it is. But like, I think about it. I think that's a good ass trade. At least we got something for it. Next is Thielen. I want to get rid of Thielen next. To be honest with y'all, I want to get rid of Thielen next. Probably trade him to the Raiders maybe or somebody. Get us some better picks, you know what I'm saying? But, like, some of y'all thoughts, man. Love y'all. Love CK. Love Cody. Love Tony. Still love Greg, bro. Love you, Greg, bro. But, yeah, man. Some of y'all thoughts about it, bro. And I'm tuning into the show.
Appreciate you, brother.
Interesting that we probably have to do some legwork, which I have not done, and that is to see what these players cost in the reality if you look at the trades were made in the past.
Yeah.
You know, is like, where did that seventh come from? Where did that go? You know, and how did we trade up for Mingo?
Yes, I think
no.
so.
Is that what he was saying?
I don't think so.
Didn't we trade up for him? I'm pretty sure.
He used the seventh or something. Anyway, that would be an interesting. Well, we got plenty of time to figure all that out as we have to find a lot of things to talk about with the Carolina Panthers. Cody, let's get back into the show.
Yep, let's do it. So we have some PFF numbers, the best and worst on offense and defense, and that brings up a nice little discussion around Chuba Hubbard. He graded out the top offensive player according to PFF. Hubbard led the way with efficiency, rushing for 72 yards with 2 touchdowns on 15 carries. Sanders also made the most out of his opportunities, reeling in 4 catches for a game and career high 87 receiving yards. I remember a day and age when people didn't want Chuba Hubbard to be catching any sort of passes because his hands were bad, dude. He had stone hands. But listen, he's continued to grow and get better. Shout out to the boys, Pickle and Diesel Skills. They asked the other night on Spaces, or they were talking, and then I put forth the question, how many people are now interested in wanting to pay Chuba Hubbard and break him off? There were some rumors that both J.C. Horn and Chuba Hubbard, that the front office is currently trying to work on deals for the both of them. But as you know, I have been a proponent of you don't pay running backs like that, but you can find them later. We just drafted Jonathan Brooks. As a fan base, both to Tony and CK and everyone in the chat, how are you feeling about the potential of paying Chuba Hubbard to be here next year?
I don't think by any means you're going to have to pay him like a giant deal. Like, there's a difference between paying a running back maybe a couple $1 million more than you could save in another thing, and then paying them like Saquon money. You know, those are two different. Like, one is paying a running back to be the star of your team. One is keeping a back around to help you grow as a team. And I tell you this, I don't know why. I guess I keep saying 4 games back. Now I'm buying into it. And I just said I wouldn't pick the Panthers to win a game ever again. So I don't know. I'm all over this place tonight. But imagine a scenario where you brought up Jatavian Sanders, who's kind of starting to contribute and play more aggressively and confident. Imagine a scenario as Jalen Coker continues to show that he belongs in the NFL. Imagine a scenario where Leggett finishes with 8 touchdowns or something, and man, just really you feel good about that. Imagine a scenario where Bryce Young improves enough to where you do not feel required to push the quarterback position too hard in the draft or even maybe too expensively in free agency. And you've got a team where you got Chuba Hubbard and a couple of rookies coming out. You can move the draft and get your defense. You can go from a terrible team to a young team with potential quickly. Not saying get good, but imagine that core of players and Chuba's the vet. I'm all right with that.
I say pay him a deal identical to Miles Sanders. Miles
you know
is getting,
it would
what,
be just
6
as
years?
much. It would, it would almost be an insult to him, though. Miles Sanders be like, I got that, and I didn't do shit.
Yeah, but at least he's earned it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
how much?
No, that's what I'm saying. Is Chuba Hubbard be mad? He'd be like, man, Miles Sanders got that deal. I know that was respectable, but he's sorry.
So I put a poll in the chat. Should the Carolina Panthers extend Chuba Hubbard? And this is really interesting, because we do have Jonathan Brooks coming back. A lot of people don't want to pay him, but I think some people would be okay with it on a short 2-year deal. Like my man Kyle says, maybe up to $6.75 million a year to a 3-year deal. Nothing to break the bank, but also considering that you have your left and right guard that you've just sank, a collective $100 million into. Your interior is pretty good as of right now. Why would you not want to continue to shore up the short thing that we had? I remember we wanted to do that when we let Deontay Foreman out of Carolina, when we had a pretty good 1-2 punch with both of those dudes. So I don't know, man. Listen, normally I'm not a fan of paying running backs, but I'm a Chuba Hubbard fan, dude. Like if I had to buy a jersey of any player on the team right now, I'm buying a Chuba jersey. He's the man, dude. I love the way he runs. He's gotten better every single year. Yeah, through 3 different coaching staffs, Chuba Hubbard has done nothing but grow and get better as a football player. So
he's actually really good. Like when you see, like, he is coming to his own. Like I know the hands were a problem, but he was a baby draft. He was always ahead of his skis. Like he was making good decisions and running hard, but he was always just stumbling around those first 2 years where it was like a 4-yard gain that could have been broken off for a 13 or 15-yard run. And he's running over his hips and feet better now to where that power can then lead to 3 or 4 more yards. I'd love to see him break off a couple, but no, good player. I'd love to see him. And what you need a guy like that. Think David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Think Chuba Hubbard and Jonathan Brooks. Let's go. Miles Sanders, see you later next year. Roll into camp with those as your just de facto running back crew, and you would be just as good, if not significantly better than this year and last year.
Yeah. I'm into it, man. I want to pay him just on the principle of we have seen so many players walk out of the door, talent that we have cultivated, and I don't want Chuba to be the next in that line. I would like to see him and Brady Christensen get an extension. CK, did you want to touch on this one? Or
I mean, I kind of had said that, I think that he walks at the, in the offseason anyway. I know we could franchise tag him, but I don't know that we would actually do that. I just don't know that the dude would want to play for this team again, because we're still in, like, he's going to have to go through an entire new rebuild at this point. Right. And I just don't know that he's, I think he would rather cash in on an opportunity to go be in a competitive environment on a team that might be willing to pay him more than we can afford to pay him right now. I don't know that we're going to break the bank to pay him.
For on the open market, do you think?
I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that there's probably a team that'd be willing to pay more than we would be able to.
Interesting stuff. We'll watch that as it develops. What we got next?
Yep. Let's so this is the best of the defense. How about this, man? Our collective defensive back room was fucking kicking ass, dude. They were not effectively throwing the ball against Carolina most of the day. Dan Jackson graded good, and Mike Jackson
Continues
What
to
a
be a
trade.
good player on this team. That play right there you're watching ended the game right there.
It really did, man.
I think that was a fourth and whatever, and they went deep on it and got his head around, broke up that pass, and put the Saints to sleep. Mike Jackson, pleasant addition here. Dane Jackson, a lot of Jacksons here, but he was injured a little bit early in the season, and he is coming back and being a positive force. And J.C. Horn is healthy, it looks like. CK, what did I don't know about the J.C. Horn stuff and what he said to Cam Jordan.
Oh, dude. So Cam, you saw the post that Cam Jordan put
did.
up that. So J.C. Horn quote tweeted and said, "Bruh, don't you guys have the same record as we do?"
Oh man,
like
Got him.
he was like, yeah, it's so like because the dude was acting like, oh man, we just lost to the Panthers, like it was some like huge deal for them to lose to us as opposed to any other team. And so I think J.C. Horn took a little bit of an exception to that when we all came into this week with the exact same record, like they were just so much better than us.
Clowney back. Matt, want him. Let's see if he can do anything. We could use the help. What's next in the show?
Yeah, man. Let's continue on. Jatavion Sanders. We really need to talk about one, and to me, this kind of bleeds into the last slideshow too. Dan Morgan, in my opinion, has done a really good job of putting talent on this team and injecting young players on this team that are already starting to make an impact. Jalen Coker obviously is one of them, but we also have to mention Mike Jackson and how good he was and that trade that he pulled off. But another one who continues that we need to continue to praise is Jatavion Sanders, baby. Number 0 in your books. In the third quarter, rookie tight end Jatavion Sanders caught a 46-yard pass from Bryce Young, setting up a Panthers touchdown drive. This is the longest catch of Sanders' career. He finished the day with 4 catches and a career high 87 yards. This was his second game this season, leading the Panthers in receiving yards. Among rookie tight ends, Sanders is tied for first in yards per reception at 10.2 and is second in receiving yards at 245 and catches at 24. Sanders caught 4 of his 5 targets for 87 yards in Week 9 against the Saints, according to Next Gen Stats. Sanders has generated the most receiving yards over expected in a game by a rookie tight end this season at plus 50. Sanders gained 62 yards after the catch and generated a plus 38 yards after catch over expected, both the second most by a rookie tight end this season, boys. JT Sanders is him jumping over fools, being aggressive, but also good hands. What do we think about JT Sanders, man? And is this a guy already showing flashes of being a potential, I don't want to say superstar, but the dude's looking really fucking good for the Panthers. Does he have some star potential?
I think it's exciting to see some draft picks look like positive contributors. I'm not going to get too excited just yet about any of these guys going forward. It's just like, it is nice to see rookies performing. Or what we're going to need is a draft where you come out. We've talked about some of the struggles with the Carolina Panthers, or why we've had these struggles, and it's just repeated drafts that have yielded nothing, produced no fruit. And it would be nice to get a fruitful draft and get some momentum going forward and kind of keep it and put another draft and free agency together, find some momentum. We were excited about Jatavion Sanders. A lot of times I think it's exciting that he's a tight end, and that's and starting to get involved more and more. Because I feel like that's a position that's difficult for rookies to progress quickly from college to the pros.
I've been very impressed. Hold up. Technical difficulties. I've been very impressed with the amount of blocking reps that he's gotten this year. He's good. Like normally you don't expect rookie tight ends to be very advanced when it comes to blocking and learning the NFL schemes and how involved it is having your hand in the dirt. But I feel like he is more advanced than we thought he was coming out of Texas. And again, I feel like he started to make a good little connection with Bryce Young. I think that him and Bryce have been able to hook up the past 2 games in a row. He's done that with Coker. But he has strong hands, comes down with everything. He's been a good blocker. I really think this guy could be special for us at a certain point.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think Sanders is just continuing to increase his reps and his catches. It feels like throughout the year, and I think he's going to become a mainstay when it comes to an outlet for Bryce. I think he'll do wonders like a Greg Olsen did for Cam. So we'll see, man. I think we're all just super optimistic by what we saw. We'll see if that continues, but as of now, man, I think we couldn't be happier with the decision to move forward with this guy.
Yeah.
All right.
I agree. Let's move forward. So reminder that Jonathan Brooks, Jalen Cromartie, Jordan Fuller, Adam Thielen, and DJ Wanham are all in their prospective practice windows. Cromartie and Brooks need to be activated by tomorrow at 4. So what do we think?
That's a given. They're going to activate him. It seems like, or else they would.
Who, Brooks?
I don't feel like protecting him for the entire season. You don't got to give him a lot of work. Getting him out there, getting him trust, getting nicked, banged around a little would be good for his recovery, his rehabilitation, and mentally. He's talked about this. The hardest part about through this is just the confidence in the knee. Like everything's going well, it seems like it, but you haven't gone out there and really played without it being on your mind. And so look, you don't have a lot of pressure. You don't got to all of a sudden give him 10 carries a game, but put him out there, get him a screen pass. You know what I'm saying? Get his jersey dirty a little bit dirtier each week. And then he's not going into next year some ways like we did with overprotecting Bryce in the preseason. And it's like shell shock on week 1 or training camp next year.
Yeah.
CK, do you want to see Jonathan Brooks this year?
I do, man. I want to see him. I think again, I said this a few weeks ago before, I was even on the bandwagon of signing Chuba Hubbard, was if you really wanted to bring Chuba Hubbard back, you want to hope that Jonathan Brooks comes out and balls out. Because I tell you what, if Chuba does have value on this team and he wants to stick around, his value is going to start to go down a little bit if he's splitting those reps with Jonathan Brooks and he's doing just the same job. You know what I mean? So I think best case scenario, Jonathan Brooks comes out and he plays just as well as Chuba, if not better. And then we don't have to it's not such a hard decision on whether we're moving forward with Chuba or not.
Pandaz says, he said, look, if Brooks shows out, talk about really revamping an offense in a single off season. 2 guards, finding the gym at wide receiver, drafting a what looks to be like a monster in the making, or could be monster in the making with Leggett, and then all of a sudden Brooks is a superstar in this. You talk about let's fix this defense quick.
Yeah, I mean,
you're on a 3-year plan. Then if you're a 2-year, you got a 2-year, year 3, like we get 2 seasons, and then these guys are all be in their prime, and that's when you're trying to win. 2027, 25, 26. Yeah, 27, 2027, if you do the off seasons right, you should be teasing us in 2026 with potential of being a contending team for the playoffs. And then 2027, these guys are no longer green and they're freaking dominant. That's what it's going to take. But it's going to take another draft and another good off season, and a lot of that. Go ahead and start allocating to the defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen. I want to see Brooks. We all want to see Brooks.
Yes,
I want to see what he can do. I mean, listen, this guy was dynamic.
Yes,
in college,
like better than Bijan.
Yeah, like dude, he's a great pass catcher. He's good running the football, and the fact that we already mentioned how much money we put on the offensive line, and how it's so good, and it surprises us how good this offensive line is, and not even just the fact that it's good, but we have depth good. Like we have injuries on this O-line, and we're still doing things. We're still pass protecting well. We're still run blocking well. That's also why I called Dave Canales' game not the best, because I felt like there were times when he's not using the strength of his offense to its best ability running the football on those short yardage situations.
Well, my opinion is I'm looking at this from a couple of different ways. Number one, as a rookie head coach who's having to manage all the different facets of a game, I'm okay with there being a learning curve for him. But what I love is that his offense is allowing for this. And I'm not going to give everything to him, but I think it's worthy of talking about that no matter who has been on that offensive line at any position, they've played well. And why that means something to me is that there's clearly something about this game plan, about the preparation that's getting this offensive line in a better spot. Because who would have thought coming into the year that we didn't have our starting center, we didn't have our starting left tackle, and we still had a really good day on an offensive line? Who in the world would have predicted that being the case? I'm just saying, like, Cade Mays came in and he did an incredible job at center. He didn't do that at all last year. So we've got to give some love to the coaching staff, and that gives me hope that Dave Canales is going to fix the things that we're worried about with this play calling. That's something that's going to come along with time. But it's fair to say that this team is playing well when they shouldn't be, and I think, or at least the offense is in certain areas, and I think that's worthy of some praise for Dave Canales.
Not all heroes wear capes. Joe Gilbert, when's the time to start talking about this man? We've had all of these James Campen. We've had Matt Sco. Everybody told us we're great offensive line coaches. When it's time to start giving the flowers to Joe Gilbert, the only tough guy on the team, the only tough guy on the coaching staff, it seems like. Right here, Joe Gilbert, hero without a cape. Cody, what's next?
So up next, we went through that. This is the last slide I had, man.
All right.
Some top storylines heading into this game against the Giants. Again, let's talk about this a little more. The Bryce Young quarterback situation didn't get any easier after the former number one overall pick put together a decent day after a winning effort against the Saints, which included his first NFL game-winning touchdown drive. He finished 16 of 26 for 171 yards passing and a passer rating of 77.6. When asked if Young would start next week with the veteran quarterback Andy Dalton's still on the mend from a thumb injury, Panthers head coach Dave Canales said he and his coaching staff still have a lot of information to process. Look, where there's smoke, where there's fire. Where there is smoke,
Right.
there is fire. And Dave Canales doesn't fuck with Bryce, in my opinion. And I don't know if maybe he feels like he doesn't give him the best chance to win. I don't know. But let me ask y'all, is there any chance that he goes with Dalton and gives him the nod over Bryce Young?
No.
And is there anyone who thinks that that's the right thing to do?
No.
I know. I mean, I think you've got to go Bryce Young. I don't think there's a scenario where you go the other way. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
I'm starting to think this is that no, there's not, because while I was teasing about the Panthers only being 4 games out, I think they really only have one winnable game left on the schedule, and that's this week.
By the way,
maybe 2, the Cowboys. But other than that, Chiefs smoke, Bucks smoke, Eagles smoke, Cardinals smoke, Bucks, Falcons. At best, the Carolina Panthers can win 2 games going forward.
I know we're helping this narrative, but by the way, our strength of schedule remaining is like number 5 in the NFL. So we have the 5th hardest strength of schedule out of anybody. And if you look at what the Bucks and the Falcons have, they're like the Bucks have the 32nd hardest.
No, they're playing the same damn schedule we are.
Nope, they've got the heavy part out of the way.
Oh,
they just beat they came close to beating the Chiefs.
They played the Eagles already.
Yeah, they played the Eagles. So all the hard games that we have left, they haven't played yet, or they've already played. And so they have the easiest schedule out of anybody left on there. And the Falcons are very close to being similar. I think they're like the 26th of the hardest remaining schedule. So we have one of the hardest remaining schedules. They have one of the easiest remaining schedules. So the idea that we're going to potentially win the division is an uphill battle. We're not going to win. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a joke. Yeah, you're right. Panthers need to win against the Giants, or else they're definitely getting that first round pick, overall pick.
The Cowboys. The Cowboys don't look good, and
those are the only 2.
By the way, Patrick Mahomes, whenever we do play the Chiefs, he's hobbled right now. Although
do we know what's going on with him?
Yeah, he had it's a right ankle. He had that injury going into the game last night, but then he re-aggravated it. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna have to see what when we play.
All right. How about this? Guys, we just we had to renew the website this month for the year. So that means we need you to buy some crap off of it, because that's the only way we're going to pay for it. So we need to sell like about 50 of these mugs for Christmas, guys. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, go to the shop tab, hit the gear tab, and get some Christmas presents for yourself, for your family, for your friends that are suffering along with us. You're going to need some coffee as we watch the Carolina Panthers on this, what's going to be a tough back end of the season. You should drink it out of a C3 Panthers podcast mug. You should get a C3 Panthers podcast t-shirt. Or you could even get a You Make Me Fucking Sick t-shirt in honor of G Baby. Or shut the hell up in honor of Panther Pickle. Go to CarolinaCatChronicles.com, hit the shop tab, and buy some merch, because we got to pay for this website. We can't lose money. We got to break even. We're already losing enough in Bank of America. But we got to win last week. Crazy. All right, let's go. We've got 2 calls left.
Yeah.
Yo. What's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. I know it's a crazy night, election night, all this. Just wanted to talk here about the Panthers, obviously. So they traded Jonathan Mingo today. Honestly, happy. 4th round pick. You gave up a 7th. That's basically nothing. Great pick. Jonathan Mingo is a terrible football player. I know a lot of us wanted him to pan out, but he's just not. He doesn't have the feel of the NFL game. That's kind of what my takeaway was from his film last year. And so he's gone, right? You found Coker, you got Leggett. You're probably going to add. There's going to be some good free agents, wide receivers in free agency, or maybe in the draft or whatever. But the young offensive nucleus is definitely something to be excited about. I know I've been very negative this season. There's still a lot of things I want to see, but it feels good to see the young players getting playing time, getting development. So I'm happy about that. Whether I'm not happy about Dave Canales' play calling, some other things, et cetera, et cetera. But now I want to talk about Bryce Young. All right. So as Diana Rossini said, there were calls. There's definitely teams interested. I still think Bryce Young has a future in the NFL. I think he's off to a really rocky start in this situation here with us. But listen, just if you're the front office and you're still on the fence about him with the draft coming up and a potential top 3 pick that we could have, play him the last 8 weeks. Okay, if you weren't willing to trade him today, at least play him and do yourself the justice and the service to not make an irrational decision. Play it out. Get more film on the guy. All right, if he plays 8 more games, that means you will have an 11-game sample size of this season. Really, you would have a 12, but really the first 2 were bad. So you really get a 10-game sample size of the rejuvenated Bryce Young. If we get the Bryce Young from last week every single week going forward, hey, to me, that's enough to at least keep him on the roster next year. That doesn't mean that he has to be the starter. That doesn't mean that you're guaranteeing him to be the franchise quarterback. You could still bring a body in for camp battles or something like that. But please, if you're moving in this direction, please play. If you're playing the young players, please give Bryce Young this last 8-game stretch to show if he's willing to, look like the franchise quarterback. Give me your thoughts on that. Those are my opinions. As for the Giants, I don't know if we can win. I don't know yet. Their defense is pretty good. We'll honestly see. A lot of questions. Crazy night. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Keep motherfucking
I agree
pounding.
entirely with him.
Yeah, I think you have to play Bryce. And again, I like what Joe Person said in that original tweet that we put up. It's like right now he has momentum behind him. He's coming off of a good performance. He's starting to build some chemistry with the younger guys like Jalen Coker and Jatavion Sanders. So at this point, it's like, if you go back to Andy, then when are you planning to do any more evaluation on Bryce this year? And then, or are you just not concerned with it at all? I agree. You have to see what you have in Bryce.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's going to dictate what we're going to do at the end of this offseason. And we fucking spent enough for him. We sure need to be playing.
All right, let's go to the next call. Actually, I think there were 2 more.
Yo, my C3 family. D, Sanford, North Carolina. Shout out to the great Tony Dunn.
T-shirt.
Our homie Cody Lack. CK.
I don't know how.
Yo, shout out to Bat Daddy. Prayers to you. Prayers to D's and his family. Prayers to Muscle Marinara, his sister and family, and so forth.
Appreciate you,
I'm still feeling good off of the win Sunday. We about to go to Germany. I guess they're going to be partaking in a little schnitzel, a little Heineken, and whatever's German, maybe riding a Pfaffennugan if they still make them. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, we're going to keep pounding over there with the hot beer and everything else. Dan made a very good move today. I think it was a smart move, probably a telling move. And it's all to what I was saying about building and continuing to lay foundation and put the bricks down so that we can have something that we can be proud of in the future. I think we up to like 11 picks now. That's absolutely wonderful. So, family, like I said, you got to trust this process. You got to keep pounding. I'm not going to hold you long. But like I said, if you ain't with us, don't come to the parade. Keep
pounding. Keep pounding, brother. Love that, dude.
No doubt. All right, here, let's get the last call of the night in.
Hey guys, 910 Kyle here from Wilmington. Hope y'all are doing well. Shout out to Greg. Hope you're doing well, sir. Shout out to Muscles. Hope you're doing well, sir. And shout out to the Italian Bull, who's always in our spaces. Hope you're doing well, sir.
Awesome.
I know you're going through some stuff. About these Panthers, though, anybody that says Dan Morgan can't do GM or he needed to be purged with the rest of the organization from last year, shut the hell up. I'll pull a pickle.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go,
But
brother.
my point is, Mingo didn't do shit for us. So, I mean, there were some of us that were talking in the offseason about cutting him. So, that's a win. And Deontay, you ain't going to get a lot because he's going to ask a lot, and he's on a 1-year deal. So you're not going to get a lot of pick, a lot of compensation with a pick. But anyways, great show. Keep pounding.
All right, appreciate it, Kyle. Appreciate everybody that's been hanging out with us on election night. I know it's a busy night for a lot of people. A lot of people probably interested in that. But it's always great to hang out with our friends and talk about something a little less stressful. You know what? I used to say the Panthers were less stressful in politics. Now the Panthers are stressful.
I don't know. The Panthers are pretty easy right now.
Well, this past week has really taken a large, like a heavy load off my shoulders when it came to, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Going into this past week against the Saints, I just really wasn't, I was down on everything. And right now I feel like we came up and we got, you're drowning a little bit. We just got a breath of air, with this. It's like a little bit of breath of air to continue trying to survive as a fan with Bryce Young. A little breath of air with Coker and some of these younger players coming out. A little breath of air with some of these trades and the realism that's starting to set in. A little breath of fresh air. Right. So my name's Tony Dunn. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Every Tuesday night, 9 p.m., we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. It's the longest running Panthers podcast with the longest running segment on the longest running Panthers podcast. It's time to ice some fools up, Cody.
Toughen up. Get your act together. Let's ice them up. I need to do some sorting. A million fucking
I know
videos
there's so many videos
we have back here. Jesus. Ice up me for not deleting this shit months ago.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our opportunity to step outside of football, stay with inside of football, whatever you want, to talk about something in this world that you would like to ice up, toughen up to get it together. One of you guys start. I don't really have a great one tonight.
I have two, and
Okay.
they're just okay. They're funny, but so how about this? I'll start with this one. When you're at a protest, there's cops everywhere. Everyone knows this. But whenever you're filming, dude, watch out for those cops on horseback, brother. They come out of fucking nowhere.
What's your problem?
You just knocked his ass over. And then the cop dares him to do some shit about it. All right, so that's pretty much that. And then you want me to just do my second one?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah. What the hell is this woman doing to her hot dog at the baseball game?
Jesus Christ.
She puts her hot dog in the beer.
Oh, she's making a beer brat. No, I don't know. Oh, she's gonna make a straw. So she can then drink her beer through the hot dog.
Dude.
Whoa.
She's like legit doing surgery.
She made it into a straw.
Oh my God!
Oh, nasty thing. Yeah, that just looks disgusting. I think people don't realize that other people can see them do shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like that, that's one of them. So eyes up, son.
Oh man, that's so horrible. Go ahead, Tony.
I don't got anything. Let me see. I don't want to ice up.
Panther said that's illegal in 7 countries.
I don't know what I'm gonna. I don't have anything good that's been on my mind. I should have something pulled together. Caught me off the cuff. I did. Did I show you guys the ECU Barstool thing where the cop tripped and fell?
I don't think so.
Did I show you guys that last week? Let me see if I can find. I've been trying to find it. You go ahead, CK.
Well, for me, listen, in the realm of sticking with the This isn't a negative, but I'm going to stick with the fact that we just came off of a holiday, Halloween. And so my son, who is 8 years old, by the way, just does backflips all day. Just backflips.
Yeah. Oh, dude, he's badass, dude.
Like, that's all he does. And so he went as Spider-Man. And so when I tell you, this kid at every house was saying, getting his candy, and then he's like, "Can I show you something?" That dude had to have done 150 backflips on Halloween. And dude got so much candy, like filled his thing all the way up, because after he would do it, they would be like, you need some more candy. This dude, I'm telling you, like at the end of the day, he said, "My legs are so sore." And I'm like, "Yeah, we might need to go get you some ice so you can ice up, son." So
nice.
my most literal ice up son that I possibly could give out, I'm going to give to my son, because he is absolutely killing it with these backflips. And like it self-taught, by the way. This dude isn't like, I'm not sitting there spotting him like, this is how you do this. Like, this dude watched YouTube videos and he figured it out.
That's awesome.
And so dude's gonna be, he's gonna be something about, he's a performer. He loves doing it in front of people. And he is absolutely going to be a performer and entertainer of some sort, whether it's in sports or just some sort of an entertainment like circusry or whatever. So,
dude, tell him to get that NFL money, man. Maybe he's got enough athleticism to be a white quarterback.
Think about this. If he were able to unseat Saquon Barkley for the best juke by doing a backflip away from a tackler,
he's gonna do parkour next, and then he's going to just be the cool. You know how much guts it takes to try to do a backflip? I'm terrified. I would never. I didn't have that. All right. Here's my ice up pick, and I guess it's to everybody falling down. Come to Take Off Fitness and get some balance up in this place, folks. This is in Greenville, North Carolina. A cop's chasing somebody. Watch this. Oh, I'll put the sound on.
Oh, shit.
You see the cop? And then this guy falls down. Everybody falls down.
My God.
All right, watch this cop. All right, Cody, get ready. Because it's going to loop.
Oh, my God.
Everybody. Look, here he goes.
Oh, shit.
He knocked himself off. He didn't fall down. They tased him. Okay. That guy didn't fall down. They tased him. I could see it. This cop is straight like dead. Like dead, knocked out. And nothing touched him. That utility belt he got, probably throwing his balance off. But keep your feet. Keep your feet. Look, maybe he'll be better in 2 seasons like Chuba Hubbard was. Or is. Hey-o. All right, that's the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. You great Americans hanging out with us. I love you guys. Oh, and wait, there's a ton of people that aren't Americans. Thank you, too. Thank you for y'all's service in Panther Nation. Cody Lack, take us out of here.
Yeah, man. C3 Nation, you already know what we're going to do. Like we always do. We're going to keep pounding, baby. Let's go. Until next time. Remember, America always gets the president it deserves, so fear not. Until next time, Panther Nation, we out. Keep pounding.